House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy says the president's policies have emboldened Russia, and he joins us now. Great to have you on the couch here.
Thank you for having me back.
I know, we weren't expecting that. It was such a nice surprise.
Well, it's good to see you all.
Good to see you.
So let's talk about this administration, their policies, and how, in your estimation, it has emboldened Russia.
It's not just emboldened Russia. It's emboldened all the evil leaders of the world. And it started on day one. It's its executive actions. Remember, a strength of a nation is not just your military. It's your ability to have energy, and it's your ability of economics. He weakened Americans' ability on energy. And who did that empower? It empowers Iran, Venezuela, and Russia. That's where they get their wealth. Then the way he extracted us from Afghanistan, saying that he would not leave until every American was out, and 2 weeks later he left. That sent the wrong message around the world. And then when he gave Putin the pipeline and denied America the pipeline, they saw more weakness. And then there's a little point. Remember, this is the 100th anniversary this year of the Soviet Union being created. And Putin thinks in this manner that he wants to bring the motherland back together. And remember, on November 10th, Blinken signed a strategic partnership with Ukraine. In that partnership, it advocates to having them join NATO. But when you did that, this is why they are so wrong when it comes to foreign policy. You would never sign that agreement without first selling weapons to Ukraine to defend themselves. Yeah. So what they did is they had the intel that Putin wanted to invade Ukraine. They signed this document, and then Putin looks at, I've got a short window to go in before they join. And the entire time, Biden's administration says he won't do anything till after they entered. Why wouldn't you give him the stingers? Back when he was vice president, I met in the Situation Room advocating that they sell it then after I came back from Ukraine. Let them defend themselves. They want to defend themselves. Yeah. They're not asking for the men and women of America to go fight for them. They're just asking for the ability to not use sticks against Russian tanks. That's all they've ever asked for. Why wouldn't we defend freedom? Why wouldn't we allow that for them to defend themselves? And this is his policy. It's a Neville Chamberlain doctrine that has put the world upside down. That's why China's looking closer to go to Taiwan. Why wouldn't we speed up the military sales to Taiwan so they can defend themselves?
You're saying we could potentially see a repeat of this as China looks at what we're doing in Ukraine and says, well, get while the getting's good.
But they're looking what we did in Afghanistan of how we left. This is all his actions, and he's made us weaker. And what's he doing in the middle of this? He's using Russia to negotiate an agreement with Iran.
That's crazy.
Why would we give billions of dollars to the state-sponsored country that funds terrorism around the world, and at the same time, he's sending people to go and negotiate with Venezuela? The worst people in the world, he's saying America wants to be a part of.
It's this green energy policy. It's so obvious what we should do. Why wouldn't we want to have more jobs in America, enrich our own country, protect Europe by providing them gas and oil, and instead we'd rather, I've been saying it all this whole show, we'd rather get oil from Tehran than Texas. It doesn't make any sense.
But think about this. If you care about the environment, American natural gas is 42% cleaner than Russian natural gas. Why wouldn't you advocate for it? And it's not just Biden who's making us weaker. It's these liberal Democrat governors. Gavin Newsom, California has oil production, some of the best in our entire country. He's been shutting it down as well. You look in Colorado, the exact same thing. So it is a doctrine of the Democrats. And as now they say, Nancy Pelosi, that she wants to end Russian gas, last week 220 of them actually voted against that when we put it on the floor for America independence.
Let me give you a little bit of breaking news. This just came out moments ago. So Secretary of State Anthony Blinken said there are very credible reports of Russian attacks on civilians, which could constitute a war crime. So that begs the question then, does that provoke an American response? Is that something that draws us into this conflict?
Well, this is not new. The concern here is you have to play this very closely because you don't want to end up, you do not want to have 1938 and 1939 because what you're looking back to, they did the exact same things Chamberlain did. They appeased to bring us in. This is where we have to be better prepared. Unite individuals. We would not be in this situation had they sold weapons to Ukraine and let them defend themselves. And you've got to play with strength. If Russia was not strong getting all these resources from America providing millions of dollars every single day from
But is
fuel.
there a line on American involvement? What that is suggesting, what some are suggesting, that Blinken has now acknowledged the existence of war crimes, and others will use that as a call for more direct American involvement. We had the same debate perhaps over a no-fly zone. Putin has said the declaration of a no-fly zone he will consider an act of war. We have had our line at Article 5, any NATO countries, the breaching of their border. What is the line? I would love to know what
Well, with a
America should
NATO,
draw
it's
as the line.
very clear. If they enter a NATO country, we have a responsibility to be there. But
Are there other lines besides that one?
I think that would be a debate for Congress, and that's not an action that the president can just take. If we watched in history, that's a part that we've moved wrongly, that we should have these debates in Congress.
No doubt.
Congress has the power, and Congress has to have that vote.
No doubt.
Yeah. Too much has been ceded to the executive branch from Congress.
By far.
Yeah.
For sure.
Hopefully if you become speaker, maybe you'll change that.
And it's amazing. Even Germany's been willing to temporarily suspend their climate fantasies in realization of their energy dependence, yet we can't.
They've made big mistakes. All of Europe has, getting away from nuclear, getting away from natural gas. And now they're saying, Putin sat and waited for this day.
Yeah.
Where are the American people on this really quick? I mean, because I think that even people who were hoping maybe we could be energy, more green energy, are seeing the national security implications, the global implications of this.
But
You're about to enter into a midterm election. You have lots of people on the ground right now.
We're making a mistake by saying that we're against the environment in any shape or form. Because when we were energy independent, we lowered our emissions greater than any other country in the world. We can lower our emissions because natural gas helps, and we do it by all the above. What he's actually doing today by raising the gasoline prices, producing more, he's making the world dirtier because you're going to buy that product from somewhere else that doesn't produce it in the manner we have. We are safer, the world is more secure, and the world is environmentally more sound when America leads in energy than someplace else in the world.
You can't pretend the demand doesn't exist. To your point, Pete, Germany
do
tried
not
that.
give that argument to the Democrats, though. We are lowering emissions greater than any other nation in the world when we're producing the energy in America.
Well said.
Great to have you on the set.
So
Thank
great
you. It's glad to
having
be
you
back.
here.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Come back.
All right.